Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday, and it is Whip Wednesday. And I thought it'd be a good idea to maybe go live. I haven't gone live since I first started my YouTube channel about a year ago with diamond painting, and I thought, I don't have the time to do a video and then do all the editing, and I got to get my feet wet in this live arena. So what better time than I felt the courage to make a post, and I was like, just post it. And then when you post it, you have to do it. And so here I am. And so welcome. And I probably a few minutes early, and I did put this up really rather late last night. And so I'm learning that, you have to really give a couple of days when you decide to go live. But, you never know. So maybe I think somewhere in the back of my mind, I also wanted to have like a soft kind of live. So, what is WIP? What does it mean? WIP is your work in progress. Whatever it is that you're working on, I am diamond painting, but you may have liked the topic of having a mindful meditation also while you craft, or maybe you're just listening to this as a podcast. Maybe you're painting, maybe you're knitting or crocheting, whatever it is that you're doing. I am working on a custom design that I had made for me through Dreamer Design. It is actually a Klimt painting called Woman with Boa and Feather Hat. And I'll show you that in a second. This is a model that he used very often. I believe that she is the model from the Kiss painting. And I believe that she's maybe the model from Dene. And her name was Red Hilda. And I did a little video just on her because I just thought that she just had this look about her face that is just, it's very compelling. Like you want to know more about this model and why was he so attracted to her. Could have been a lot of reasons, but he did use her face and very much a lot of his iconic paintings. So I'll be working on her. Other projects that I have are Self Care Sunday, where I work on Bud the Tabby Cat, and that's from Diamond Art Club. And then, of course, I'm with Summer with the Masters 2024. Wow, I keep thinking it seemed like it was never getting here, and now it's almost over because it's over July 31st. Summer with the Masters, hosted by Katie over at Diamonds and Washi and Anthony over at Single and Placing. So you can, I would say you can still join because you don't have to finish your painting. So if you have a master painting, you can, of course, join in. And there are the projects that I'm working on. And I am also going to be using, so far, I am going to be using this painting, this diamond painting and this face for a kind of tip and trick tutorial or step things that I've learned while I was doing this section. And this section here is heavy in confetti. Not looking to rhyme, but I am. Heavy confetti area. And if you are one of my subscribers, you know that confetti is not my forte. I know a lot of you love it. However, I just, it's not my thing. But I'm always looking to challenge myself with this craft because I love it and I want to keep it fresh and new and exciting. And I said to myself, what can I do to make this more pleasing and more enjoyable? I don't want to get to an area where I'm like, oh, because I was like that. There's actually some confetti down the bottom also. It doesn't look like it. They kind of all look like the same color, but there was a lot of confetti in these two blocks and a lot of similar colors. And so that, I mean, at least this section is more colorful, but that section there was just like grays and browns and black and, different shades of brown and gray. And it was a little overwhelming and I was getting tired. And by the time I got here, I was saying to myself, what can you do? I tried to trick myself psychologically. What can I do to make this more enjoyable. And you ask a good question, you have a brain in your head, you're going to come up with some pretty good answers. And I did, and I was really starting to enjoy confetti. When I am done with my paintings, I put clips on them that I get from the dollar store, and I hang them up. And when I hung this up and I backed away from it, and I also paint, so I know when you're painting, you step away, you're paint, put a little bit more paint, and you step away. You're trying to have your perspective adjust because you're so close to the painting. That when I finally pulled away, I was like, oh my God, I think I've just fallen in love with confetti. And there you have it. And so I am probably going to use this section when I come up with my tips and tricks tutorial for this one. And I think that I might want to have that be live because I want to have a few people step in and speak up and tell me what you love about confetti, and maybe what you think of the tips and tricks. And if you have any of your own, I really want to market it that way so that we have a lot of people. I'm not growing my channel to have a lot of subscribers, but I am growing my channel to have a community of people, and nothing makes my heart happier than when I see my subscribers talking to each other, and you're sharing tips and tricks, and what you love or don't love or what you're working on. That was my whole reason for starting this channel, is to grow a community through diamond painting, through mindful meditative art, because I do think of diamond painting as a meditative art, and perfect for those who would love to meditate, but they kind of always see the pink elephant in the room. So the part of the mindful meditation is coming from this Book of Awakening, Mark Nepo. And if you've been here a while, then you know that I use this book often. It's been with me for years. It is like a little Bible for me. You can actually read the daily passages, which are like a page long, or you could go to a subject matter. Maybe there's something that's weighing heavy on your mind and you want to get like a little clarity or understanding about things that are maybe weighing heavy on you. So you can do that also. So I chose, as I was very impulsively creating this class for today, to say I am just going to open the Book of Awakening to July. Are we on the 10th? We are. We're on the 10th. July 10th. Is this it? July 10th. The Ring of Safety. And I'll be reading from here. And what I like about the Book of Awakening is it's not just a reading. This is the reading right here. But there are questions if you want to journal, if you want to think about. And it was my idea in creating this class that yes, we will read from here, and yes, we will have an opportunity to think about something while we're diamond painting. Maybe you just want to forget your troubles or forget the heat. I mean, I want to forget that it's hump Wednesday, Wednesday hump, and I want to forget about this unbearable heat, and I want to forget about all the stuff that's going on with Beryl. Oh my gosh, a few of my subscribers were right in the thick of it, even though it was the perimeter of the storm. I know, I lived in Florida and I was on the perimeter of Andrew, which was a category 5 at the time. And that's now to me, it's a funny story, but at the time it was not a funny story. At the time, it was a very frightening story. I think I'm going to do, because this is confetti and this is confetti and that's confetti. I think I'm going to do this one here. So what had happened was I had moved to Florida, and my son was little. He was going in first grade in Gulf Gate School, and he came home with this hurricane kit because, of course, he's a South Philly boy. We don't have hurricanes. I don't think we did any. Well, no, we don't have we didn't at the time. We didn't have tornadoes, but now we do. And he was a little boy, and he came home with this hurricane kit, and he was like, "Mom, can you put this? He was the cutest little thing when he was little. He's still cute. He's still adorable, but." He said, "Mom, can you put this map up on the wall? And I have all these push pins, and when there's a tropical depression, we can, put the push pin on. I was like, yeah, sure. Now he's in first grade. He's getting up every morning and he's turning on the news and he's waiting for his first tropical depression and he's putting his little push pins in this big map. It was like a school map actually. And I said to him, he's like, Mom, one of my depressions has got a name. It's turning into a hurricane. And I said, okay, let's put the name up. Letter A, Andrew. And every morning my son got up and he put a push pin in the map. And this thing, let's just say it started here, and then it was here, and then it was here. And let's just say this is Florida. And it's here, and it's here, and it's here. And it's just making a straight line. And what do I know about a hurricane? I'm from South Philly, and I'm now living in Florida with my son in Sarasota, like minutes away from Siesta Key. And they're going into this panic mode because they really didn't know where it was going to hit. But we were only on the perimeter of it. It hit McDade County, but we were on the perimeter and it was frightening. It was absolutely frightening. Just what happens before a hurricane gets very close to you and how quiet it gets, how it just gets very silent and nothing moves. I felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone where I was trapped in an oil painting because it was kind of being like trapped in here. This is how still it was. And yeah, it was pretty frightening. So, every time I hear about these big hurricanes that are barreling towards the East Coast, my mind goes directly, it's anchored in my system about, surviving that. But I'll never forget, like, turning on the TV the next day, and the first thing I saw was this woman asking for her son to please come and get me because I don't know where I am. Her entire street was demolished. You couldn't even tell which street she was on. It was absolutely terrible, and it's something that has stayed with me all these years of that poor woman, telling her son, if you turn on the TV and you see me, please come and get me because I have everything is gone. I have nothing left. Oh my God, so terrible. But so, between the heat and when I didn't read this reading yet, so maybe while you're getting your whip out, which is your work in progress, as I said, maybe you're just listening along, maybe you're just listening in the background. I think what I'm going to do as I start this is maybe, read a little bit or maybe read the whole passage. It doesn't take long, and maybe that could be something that we connect on with this midweek. I call it the midweek slump. I don't really mind Wednesday. It's Tuesday that I mind. Like Monday kind of has a feel. Wednesday has a feel. It's hump day. Thursday, you're kind of like, it's almost Friday. Then, of course, it's Friday. And then, like, Saturday is like a fun day, and Sunday's a fun day. It's Tuesday annoys me. Tuesday. Wednesday doesn't annoy me. Wednesday's just the hump. But let's get through this hump, right? Let's get through this heat and this hump together, reading a passage from Book of Awakening, and get inspired and get creative together. Now I know I did put that little index card in here. I have a ton of them. I mean, you could tell that I use this book, and I use this book, and I use this book, and I use this book because it is a part of my life, and I have so many notes, and I just put a whole new pack of highlighters that I cannot wait to break open. July 10th, the ring of safety, who sees all beings in his own self, and his own self in all beings loses all fear. The Isa Upanishad. I was sitting on a beach in the sun waiting for Robert when a yellow jacket landed about 4 feet to my left. I watched its striped anterior pulse and protract, the sun making its black rings blacker and its yellow rings almost orange. It made me think of my mother and how if that yellow jacket were within yards of her, she would have rolled up the nearest magazine and with trepidation tried until she swatted. Now, I'm allergic to bees. I haven't read this passage yet. I'm allergic to bees, and I couldn't imagine me ever rolling up anything and going after killing a bee. Oh my God, it would break my heart. Her fear of being stung made her kill many a small thing. She couldn't tolerate the uncertainty that something living might hurt her. And in her deep fear of being hurt, she walled herself in, swatting everything away. Almost 40 years later, I realized that we all suffer the uncertainty of being hurt by the life that surrounds us. And we all have a changing ring of safety beyond which we are likely to hurt other living things in the guise of self-defense. I sat on the bench and the yellow jacket flitted closer. But having almost died from cancer, feeling blessed to be here at all, I let the little insect come much closer than I used to. With a softer, more truthful eye, I could see it had a little interest in me, and I'm ashamed to admit just how many times I have harmed others because, like my mother, I couldn't tolerate the unpredictable nature of their advance. How often we imagine things are dangerous when they are only doing what comes naturally. The yellow jacket came closer still. When it was almost on my arm, there was time enough to gently shoo it on its way. It flirted with me for quite some time, coming close till I would shoo it on, buzzing at a distance, then coming close again. This is so much like the dance we do with strangers and loved ones alike. How often we murder parts of ourselves by not letting things advance or come close. How often we let fear and the SWAT rule our emotional lives. How often we kill or chase away everything that moves. I think of Francis of Assisi, who held so still the birds landed on his branch-like arms, and we wonder why we are so lonely when we won't let anything full of life come near. If we could only see the bee or the bird or our enemy as a brief living center like ourselves, we could then let them go on their way without pulling us into opposition. So, what I get from this reading is, of course, that I wouldn't hurt a bee or anything smaller than myself. I'm the girl that carries the spiders out of the house on the edge of the broom and opens the window for the trap flies. What I get from this is what is trying to enter into our lives, and maybe out of fear of something getting too close or wanting to protect ourselves, that we shoo it away and we don't allow it to get too close because we're afraid of being hurt. Or, a bee or anything buzzing around me is annoying to me. So maybe it's kind of like an example of, is something annoying you that you are intolerable of? That's what I get from the reading. So, Mark says, close your eyes and meditate on someone who feels intrusive or annoying to you. Note what you feel, but assess, if you can, exactly what feels intrusive. Is this sense of intrusion coming from your fear, or is the person being truly intrusive? So while you diamond paint or do whatever it is that you do, meditate upon the reading. And is there someone that annoys you or feels intrusive in some way? And are they really being intrusive? I can tell you. Now, I'm trying to pull all this into the midweek slump and also the heat. And I can tell you that with this unbearable heat has come a lack of patience. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to this unbearable heat maybe making you cranky or making you feel like people that you love are annoying you? I think that there's a lot of that going on. I think that there is. I mean, I know that my tolerance for things during this, you know, heat that we're having, that just, I parked the car yesterday. Well, my husband parked the car, and we parked in front of the house, and the walk to the step, which was a few feet, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get inside the house. I feel like I'm literally frying on my step. So I think that that does, you know, maybe if you think that someone's or a situation is irritating you or annoying you, is it? I mean, this is something that I learned from yoga. It was always to ask the question, is it really? Yeah. Is it really the person? Is it really the situation? Is it something else? You know, can you see it from a different perspective? And um, I think that I have been annoyed a lot this week with the heat, and I don't work outside, and I think, you know, my husband does, and I, you know, being concerned about him being out in the heat, and he'll say something to me like, Elisa, I've done this for 26 years. The heat no longer bothers me. I'm used to it. But this year and this heat that we have, we actually, it was his day off yesterday, and we actually took a walk, and it was early in the morning. I'm like, let's get out. Like, we got to get out of this house. Let's get out and let's take a walk. And it wasn't too far away. We were going to walk to go get coffee and go get something to eat at a nearby coffee shop. And we were okay when we got there, but the walk home, when we finally got back in the house, I felt like I was just sweating nonstop for like the next 3 hours. It was, and we were getting kind of punchy with each other. And we had a lot to do. Like, we had things to do. We had paperwork that needed to be done. We had meetings that we had to attend. We had friends that we had to go see. Like, we had things to do, and it was just unbearable. And I could tell, like, I could tell my patience is short. So, do I have a specific person that annoys me? I would have to say yes. And what else did Mark say? To meditate on, note what you feel, but assess if you can exactly what feels intrusive, what feels annoying. I think what feels annoying to me is that this person does not think for themselves. They kind of just go along with whatever, you know, a lot, like they like to throw the um, idea around that something is not true without actually checking if it is or isn't. And so they kind of just parrot the crowd. And it tends to be annoying because, you know, we all walk around with these cell phones and smartphones. They're little computers. I don't even think of them as phones anymore, because who answers them anyway? Everybody texts anyway. They're not really phones. They're like little computers. And it's so easy to fact check, but to also check the fact that you just checked. Does that make any sense? I mean, like, you got to keep on digging. You just, you know, you can't take one piece of information and just run with it. And it's just, this person keeps engaging me in conversation, and I keep telling myself that I'm not going to take the bait, but I do, because I'm like, oh my God, this is so frustrating. You're just repeating something that you heard. And like, you know, it's like, dude, don't you think for yourself? And I just really don't see a lot of that anymore. And I know that it's my husband's frustration too, because he's an intellectual. He reads a lot, and he wants to have intellectual discussions, and he wants to talk about concepts and ideas. And you can't seem to find that community in your own community, where you meet up with friends and, you know, you're exchanging ideas and concepts, and you're talking about philosophy, and you're talking about things that matter. You're not talking about gossip or political news, which seems to just run rampant today. And you know, it, it, it's like so uninteresting to me to be in a crowd of people that are just like not talking about anything creative at all. They're complaining about what is, we all have problems. Like, we kind of get out and get together to get away from all that. And my husband and I are so in tune with going to friends' houses, and they invite other friends that we don't know, and you want to network and you want to meet people, and what do you do, and like you want to have like these intellectual conversations. And the only thing that people really know how to do is complain about what's going on in their lives, complain about their children, complain about their jobs, complain about their other friends, complain about this one who's cheating on that one. And I'm just like, I'm so bored of it. And the best, like, me and my husband will just go into another room because we don't want to laugh in any, we don't want to laugh. But I'm like, he'll say to me, like, somebody will eventually just say, "Did you hear who died?" And he'll always say to me, "Is this really fitting conversation? If when you get together and get dressed and you go out and he was like, they'll be like, did you hear who died?" And then they'll get into like all these gory details, and he just waits for it, and then he's gotta leave the table because he's laughing because they go, "Oh my God, what happened?" And my husband's like, "What do you mean what happened? They died." No, what happened? And like the last person that we were in this conversation with, he's like, "I don't know. They just called and tell me that their mother-in-law died, and I'm calling to let you know that they died." But I didn't get into what happened. It's like, how, it's really not appropriate unless the person wants to say, yes, they were fighting a battle, but we've kept it quiet, or God forbid something darker, or maybe they just died of old age, or the other one that he shakes his head and he's like, "But I just saw them yesterday." What does that mean? What does that mean? I just like they really just can't believe that the person, like, we don't know. Tomorrow's not planned for anybody. All these pens are getting on my nerves. I should have, here we go. And these black drills seem very clumpy, and I have brought this up to you guys before, and please jump in. Do you notice that your drills get clumpy with the weather? I notice that it's not just the wax, it's not just the putty, it's everything that gets clumpy and sticky in this humidity. So I think, tying in that annoyance, or maybe that person really does annoy you. Now, what am I supposed to do with this now that I figured out why they annoy me? If you can, exactly what feels intrusive? Well, I said what. If is this sense of intrusion coming from fear, or is the person really being intrusive? Well, he did say intrusive or annoying. So I found this person, and I find this person consistently to be annoying, and this is the reason why. And they feel annoying to me. I also don't really feel like, not only are they just annoying because they don't pay attention to what it is that they're listening to, and they just kind of repeat. I can't stand gossip. They just kind of repeat gossip and stuff, and not really check where it's coming from, and what is the other person's motive of repeating something that maybe should really just be kept private. um I also just find this person untrustworthy, or I would say untrustworthy, but I would also say that I don't know if it falls into the same category of a person who doesn't watch what they say when they're repeating something, and because now it's coming from you. It came from the other person, but now it's coming from you, and you have a responsibility, because it might come back to you where someone says, "Hey, I heard you said," or even just in general, even with people that you don't know, when you're repeating things that you don't really understand. Like, I had this conversation with my mother the other day. She was repeating something that she was upset about, probably something that she heard from her cousin, and she was repeating it. And I'm like, well, what about it upset you? And she's like, well, I don't know. You're going to have to read it for yourself. I'm like, well, how do you not know what it is that's making you upset when you're telling me you're upset, but then you're telling me that I have to read it to understand why you're upset? Just tell me why you're upset. And she couldn't pinpoint why she was upset, but just that she thought that she should be, because the material to her was upsetting, and that, um, in other words, the other person said that it was upsetting. And so now this is what I mean about parroting or repeating things. Like, you have a responsibility for the words that you use. And I guess that's where I'm coming from, with this other person, and why I feel as though this reading, where it's going. Um, I see people popping on and off. I wish somebody would say hello. They're kind of like, this is like, I mean, I've never had a live where there's been some kind of engagement. Sorry about that. I didn't turn off my do not disturb. But yeah, I'm wondering where now that I've identified what feels annoying and intrusive to me, I've tied it into the heat, um, of being annoyed more easily from because of this excessive heat, but also feeling annoyed by actions of a person that gets to be. It's not only annoying, it's also exhausting. So the next thing to ponder is to consider precisely what must be done to keep yourself safe. Adopt only that action, and if you can, engage the intrusion, the fear of it, and the fact of it no further. Adopt only that action. So consider precisely what must be done. So I did say that I keep telling myself I'm not going to take the bait, and I have done that. So adopt only that action, and if you can, engage the intrusion. So is that on my own or with the person? The fear of it and the fact of it no further. That seems like something that I'm going to be doing on my own. So I guess if I do it in my mind's eye, the next time this person decides to try and engage me in gossip or untruths, because we don't really know what's true, which is why I hate gossiping. I hate it. You don't really know what's going on in someone's family or marriage, and you should keep that. And even if you do, you should not be discussing it. Um, and I had this happen in my own family. When my dad died, I that evening ended my marriage. I was just, I didn't plan to. My girlfriend called me, and she was asking where my ex-husband was, because I was still very upset. And when I didn't answer her, she became infuriated because he was always MIA. I did everything on my own, even grieve. And she did not want me to be alone, and she picked me up, and I went to her house. She didn't pick me up. She was on her way to pick me up, and I decided to take an Uber. And I was trying to give him time to come home and not leave my house. But, there's something happens when you lose a parent, and I became very, I heard my father, loud and clear, Elisa, why are you unhappy? And, stop wasting your time being unhappy. And I remember leaving in the Uber and passing the restaurant where he was sitting at the bar having a drink. And I just thought, like, how could you even sit at a bar and be socializing with people when your wife is at home and she's grieving her dad? And I was exhausted. The day was exhausting. I mean, as you can imagine. And here I am. I'm in a Uber, and I'm going to my friend, who I just stayed there for a while. But my personal business was brought to my mother's attention, who was also grieving my father, and I don't know who told her, still to this day. And, that was no one's business to discuss but my own. How dare you bring this information to my mother when she's grieving and I'm grieving? I don't want to have to deal with this. This was not the first time that I was separated, and so it just infuriated me. So again, even if you do know something is going on in someone's life, you keep that's up to them to make the decision whether or not they're going to discuss it or talk about it. It just really infuriated me. And then my whole family jumped on board and had to put their 2 cents in. And like, I just feel like the Marilyn Monster of my family. I really do. I don't do things the way that they do them. And I don't have the same values that they have. And I was estranged from my family for close to 4 years. My family was not at my wedding to John. And a lot of people were not at my wedding to John because they didn't support us. And I figured, well, you know what? I don't need to have you there. Toodles. It becomes that easy when you know what you want out of your life. It does become that easy where you begin to just start to remove people from your life that no longer, like other things, serve you. And not that I think that my friends should serve me, but if they're not going to be emotionally supportive in times of my, because I know I am very emotionally supportive of my friends. My friends ring me up like a therapist. So, um, you know, I know that I'm very emotionally supportive of my friends and their decisions. And I don't, even sometimes when they ask me for advice, I really gingerly decline unless they're insistent that what would you do or what do you think? And I'm always very diplomatic. I don't give any like very definite, um, and I certainly don't talk about anybody involved in the situation, but try and like bring it down a notch and just be supportive. I wish someone would say hello. Say hello, you guys that are popping on and off. What are you doing? So, I guess I am going to have to practice, and that is why it is called a practice. I am going to have to practice adopting the action of not taking the bait, or I am going to take this also as engage the intrusion and just say, listen, I'm not interested. And I think I'm more concerned with, having, it's not that I'm not, it's not that I'm passive, but it's just like, if this is the way that you are, then this is the way that you are. And I don't want to insult you or make you feel bad that you're, wanting to talk about this thing. But, and then it also makes me sound like, oh God, like she's such, like, oh, she doesn't gossip. She doesn't, I don't know. South Philly is a very, we have our own rules down here. It's like anywhere else. You know what I mean? It's like when you go somewhere else, it's like, this is the way people live. And like when in Rome, you got to follow the rules. And things down here are just very like, clicky, you know? So it's like, it's not that I want to fit in, but I don't want to make waves either. I guess that's what I'm getting at. And I guess, maybe I could just like smile and like, just be like, oh, but I really hate having, um, shit dumped on me that I don't want to hear about. So, and then in conclusion, Mark talks about note how far your fear would have you keep others away. Note how far your fear would have you keep others away. If I didn't want to have a confrontation, if I was fearful of that, how far would it keep others away? Well, I guess it would depend. I guess not only do you have to think about how much does this person annoy you, but there's a reason why they're still in your life. I mean, come on. I've distanced a lot of people from my life. So they have to hold some value, or maybe they're just somebody that you can't get away with because they're a family member, and so you can't really get away from them. You have to learn how to accept and cope. So, how far would your fear have you keep others away? Note how much closer things can be if you let things do what they do outside your actual boundary of safety. So it's like, kind of like, just let them be themselves. Note how much closer things can be if you let things do what they do outside your actual boundary of safety. Coming back to the bee, you know, just let the bee be the bee. He's not really interested in you. But what does that mean? You know, just let this person be themselves outside of your boundary of safety. Let them do what they do, you know, and just, that backfires too. Because then you have somebody that says, I heard so and so was talking about me, and they were telling you about it. And then, like, you're again on the spot. You're again on the carpet. Oh my God, my circle just keeps getting smaller. I don't know. I mean, I would really want you guys to like chime in and tell me what you think of this reading, and if you've had any kind of similar experience, and what you think about the reading. Did it bring anything up for you? I mean, I would also hope that if you couldn't make it here for the live, I'm keeping in mind that you do watch this later, and you do kind of say, well, I wasn't here for the live, but I still want to, like, um, comment, because like I was saying earlier, if you missed it, my goal with this channel is not multiple subscribers, and I don't do a subscriber count. I know a lot of people that get very upset. It's like, oh my God, I had this many subscribers this day, and then I'm falling off here. What's going on? I don't have the time to kind of try and read an algorithm. I just don't. I mean, YouTube is great giving you all these tools about your algorithm. When you drop your video, if it's a live, if it's a short, I'm just all about, I can't have my head be infiltrated that way. I'm all about the creating. And so when this channel was created 12 years ago, and it wasn't until I started diamond painting, and after my first diamond painting, that I said, everybody needs to know about this new art form. It was new to me, and how much it could. Hello, love what you're working on today. Hi, Life with Natty. Thank you. This is a custom that I had done through Diamond Art Club. It's called Woman in Boa with Feather Hat by Gustav Klimt, and I just adore it so much so that they're working on another custom for me, and oh gosh, I can't wait for you guys to see it. They just approved it, so it is in the public domain, and they do have to approve it. And thank you for commenting and saying hello. Yeah, I was so excited somebody said something that I forgot what the heck I was talking about. But yeah, if you do watch this later, I hope that you do take time to comment. Thank you. I just remembered what I was saying, and then I forgot again. it's, I'm going to blame it on the heat. I'm going to blame it on the heat. And this is what we're talking about in this little meditative moment that we're having along with Mark Nepo. And I'll show you once again this lovely lady. I really don't stress about subscribers, because that's what I was talking about. Thank you for reminding me. Because when I created this channel, and I created it after doing my first diamond painting, and all the benefits that I reaped from diamond painting, and I was in grief over my little Yorkie who I had for 19 years. He passed away, and I felt myself spiraling. I really was not coming out of it. And people say to you, oh, 19 years, you gave that dog a good life. Yes, I did. But I wasn't prepared for the emptiness that I would feel once he was gone. And I felt myself really spiraling. And I don't know, a diamond painting came my way, and I started to do it, and I started to have these moments of like deep relaxation and calm. And yes, my little Yorkie's name was Honor, and Honor would pop into my mind, and maybe I would stop and cry a little bit, but I would get my focus back and work on my diamond painting. And when it was all over, I said, I have to get on YouTube, and I have to, this is what my YouTube was created for. And it was created because I want to build a community where I have subscribers that pop up all the time, and nothing makes me happier than when I see them talking to one another, because that's what I wanted. This is what I wanted. I wanted a place for somebody to come in and say, "Oh, I know you, and I know you, and what are you working on, and how's it going?" And it's just such a beautiful thing. Even though I've had, companies say to me, "Hey, we would love for you to like to team up for us, but you don't have the numbers." I'm like, that's not what I'm about. Diamond painting is the best stress reliever, and our pets are our babies. It's never enough use. Oh my gosh, it's so true. I had my one Yorkie Love for 13 years, and that was the vet giving him an antibiotic that was too strong for him, and so his vital organs just started to shut down, and that was a heartbreak. And my other little Yorkie, Honor, who was his brother, um, 19 years. And let me tell you, this dog, he was attached to me from the moment that I saw him. I walked into a pet store the day that I closed my restaurant, and I needed to get dog food for Love. And Honor was being brought in, and he was brought back to where they were holding the pets at. And I got out of line, and I walked to the back, and I said, "Can I hold him?" And she was like, I said, "Oh, can I have him?" And she said, "You want to hold him?" I said, "No, I want him." And she said, "Well, he just got here." And I was like, "I don't care." And she's like, "But there's all these other pets here." I'm like, "But I didn't see all these other pets. I saw him, and I want him." And she said, "Well, his papers are still in the truck." I said, "Well, I'll wait for you up front while you go get his papers." Had to be the quickest adoption ever. He went from the truck to the cage for like 10 seconds, to my arms, to home. And I, up until he died, just carried him around with me, when he would allow me to, because he was like a postage stamp on my body. But when I would settle down from work, and he would come and lay next to me, and I would walk him around and tell him stories. And we moved around a lot from um, New York to Philly, and I would, when he was coming in his, later years, I had nine. Oh my gosh, why is that disappearing? Where did it go? I was reading it. Is it up here? Oh, I had 9 pets, and they are my babies. Oh. Oh my God. Oh my God. God bless you. How adorable. I wish my 38-year-old son was a baby again. It goes by so fast. Enjoy every minute of it. And you're so lucky. You live in this world now where you can capture all the little things that they do, and you can make these videos and share them with friends and family. Oh, I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful. And you have your little baby growing up with all these loving animals too. Oh my gosh, so wonderful. Yeah. Oh gosh, it goes by so fast. My baby just turned 38 on July the 4th, so you know what I was doing back in 1986. I was shooting out my own firework. Oh my gosh, so cute. I love it. I wish I couldn't have animals as a kid because my brother was allergic to everything. So I couldn't have any pets. And I was always like, I was one of those kids that I was always on roller skates for one thing. Oh, how cute. 15. Wow. Wow. Oh gosh, I remember my son at 15. Oh, he was like so stressed about high school. That's what I remember about my son. He was always so stressed because he went from, a girl boys school to now like an all boys school. So he was so stressed about high school. That looks like a confetti heavy painting. It's really not. It was this section here that was confetti heavy. And because out of this section, I'm birthing a new video on making confetti fun, because for me, it wasn't. And I always want to challenge myself and learn new things. And I thought, how can I make confetti fun? And I came up with a few ideas, and I have a few other diamond painters that I love to talk to that love confetti. And I'm going to be getting that together. Do you have a picture of what the picture will be? I do. There are other videos on this painting that are my thumbnail on my other videos, so you can see it. It's in my Whip and Chats. It's in my Lady with Feather Hat and Boa. Um, this is like really my first, like I'm really getting my, I don't know how to add a picture yet. I have to learn how to do that. But how do you learn on live? How do you learn on live how to pop up a picture of something that you have so that everybody could see it? Yeah, she's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And I think a few people have them like art.com. Um, that I was so actually I was really so surprised that this has not been picked up by another diamond painting company where they have already created this as a kit, because it is a Gustav Klimt. It is in the public domain. And the original picture, she has like an eyeliner on and you can see her dark eyes. So I really love what Dreamer Design did here, because they made her face like an oil pastel. Like if I was using oil pastels, this is what she would look like. So they really did this subtle um, oil pastel look to her face. Not that she looks hard in the other one, but they really probably couldn't put that line and not make it look hard. I think they did a great job. And they had one AB included in this kit, and it went along her face, which I love. I think that they did such a great job. Like I said, I'm doing another one with them. And the other one that I'm doing is by a French painter, um, and it is Portrait of Diana, or it's called Portrait of Diana or Beauty in Purple. Again, another artist I'm not familiar with. He's only done like maybe a couple dozen paintings. And again, it was in the public domain. And I actually had wanted another Klimt, and they had said, no, this one, even though it's public domain, there is a license on it and you can't use it. It was actually from the Tree of Life, and it was Expectation. And I had this whole thing planned that I was going to do Expectation, and I was going to, she's very ornate with jewels and gold, and I thought this is a great class for anyone that wants to learn how to enhance their diamond paintings, because I have ventured into that realm too, of taking the step and enhancing my diamond paintings. I did that with Klimt's Woman in Gold by the Diamond Painting Shop, and with Klimt's The Kiss, again from Diamond Painting Shop. They're about this size. I also have Woman in Gold by Diamond Dots, and because it's so ornate and it's so has so many enhancements to it and special drills, I am saving that for the holiday. That is going to be my, I'm not going to do a Christmas thing. She's so ornate with so many jewels and stuff that that's what I'm going to do for the holiday. But in the meantime, I'm finishing this up. I'm hoping, I have all my notes for the confetti class. And in doing this live, I think it might behoove me to do a live tutorial, and have those that are interested in confetti jump on, share some tips, tell me what they think about their own tips. Oh yeah, I know. None of us can, and none of us should. It's something that I try and bring out with diamond painting, is like, take a break. Take a break, get up, get some water, take a walk, because I really can't sit for too long either. I just went to, my husband has been begging me to go to his massage. Well, that's how I started Diamond Art Company. And when I got into diamond painting, I didn't realize that this was the type of art form that it was. I must have been under a rock. And I had actually ordered my first few diamond paintings were all rounds, and they were not by anyone in particular. Honestly, they came from Timu, and the renderings were horrible, but yet I loved doing them. It was like a pair of wings, angel wings, and it wasn't until like I looked up like why am I ordering these diamond kits? Are they here? Are they based here in the United States? And I was like, what? And I found Dreamer Design, and I found Diamond Art Club, and a few other clubs, and I couldn't. I was like, I couldn't wait to get my. I feel like my nephew. Really, I try not to compare um, diamond companies because I just feel like everyone has their own outlook. And I think that they're still growing Dreamer Designs. I do like some of their designs though, but listen, I'm not gonna lie. Diamond Art Club has got it nailed down when it comes to drills. I mean, they just make everything so easy. There's very limited amounts of trash, even with the black ones. This is a square by Dreamer Design. I'm not having too much trouble, but oh yeah, I'm sure. The old kits, yeah, yeah. And the squares were a nightmare. I would imagine so. Yeah, because some I had gotten when I had gotten my big girl diamond art kit, I felt like my nephew. My nephew, when he was a little boy, was sitting in the car seat and he was crying because he wanted Legos. And his mother bought him Legos. I'm like, why is he still crying? And he was in the back seat. He was like, because I want big boy Legos. And I'm like, what are big boy Legos? And she goes like, he wants the little ones and he's too little for them. I'm like, but maybe he's not. And of course, his aunt went and got him the big boy Legos. So when I got my Diamond Art Club kit, my first Diamond Art Club kit, probably my best in videos viral on this page, I was just dancing around I was just enthralled with the box. I couldn't believe how beautiful the box was. And then I was like, didn't even have the box open yet, and I was already talking about, well, next I'm going to do squares. Well, I didn't realize that when there's a square on the Diamond Art Club box, you got squares. I had only done rounds, and I had ordered the Winter Fox that was so big that I had to take everything off my piano to unbox this kit. So not only am I venturing into the big girl, the real deal diamond art kits, I get this massive painting, and there's a point where you can see that I'm having a panic attack because I tell everybody, see if you can pinpoint the part where I'm having a panic attack, because not only is this a huge painting, but it's also squares. And before I started that kit, I went back to Diamond Art Club. I was very honest with my subscribers and said, look, I'm very morally ambitious and this kit is really big and I've never done squares. And so I got the wink, and the wink was just as challenging. It was only like 20 inches by 20 inches, but it was all black and all white, which I think are the two hardest colors to color block and make them look. You kind of start going cross-eyed because the color blocking is like, are they all straight? And I had the same problem with this one. Um, this is all black, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get a big chunk of this painting done. This took me like 3 days because I was getting blinded by the black drills, and I was just, they didn't look like they were straight to me. I was kept coming in. I actually had two aligners at one time going together to make sure all the drills were straight. It was making me crazy. Oh, Randall Spangler. Oh my God. Oh, beautiful. Oh yeah, my one of my diamond painting friends loves Spangler. Oh my gosh, and she's so good about she does the diamond painting on the easel and one by one. Oh nice. Oh, I'll go check it out. Oh nice. And are your little ones and your little pets and your little girl, are they in the video? I just love those videos. I just love real life videos. I mean, I love the curated ones too, where everything, I wish that I could be like, sometimes when I'm doing my videotaping, I'm like, I wish I was more curated where there was like pretty stuff for people to look at. but no, it's real life here. The drills get shot across the room, the whole 9 yards. But I will check you out, and I will check out your unboxing. That sounds like fun. Don't we all? I bring up my husband more than I should, but he supports this habit that I've gotten since my little Yorkie died, and I did have him sit in with, well, my first summer with the Masters was Diamond Dots, and I wasn't even planning on it. I was in Michael's and they were getting rid of them, and I had a coupon, and this $75 kit of Van Gogh's irises. But I love these. I could be entertained all night on Instagram with videos of, like cats that just come into view while you're videotaping, or kids that come in and like they're doing something funny. I could be entertained all night with those videos. But I did have my husband do a video with me, and it was because I did Van Gogh. I did Summer with the Masters, and I did a Van Gogh iris, and he loves Van Gogh. And after it was done, and he was like, "How many drills are on here?" And when I told him, like, it was like 100,000 or something, he was handing me a glass of champagne, like, "Congratulations, honey, this is beautiful, and I love it. We're gonna get it framed." And he was like, "How many drills are on here?" Like, he was looking at me like, he's like, "I knew every time I came in the door you were going to be at your desk diamond painting. But these little things that you're gluing on, there's like 100,000 in this painting." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much. I think that was the one, or maybe it was maybe not that much, but still, it's in the thousands that we're doing. That we're placing these little, at the time I was calling them beads, these little drills onto this glue sheet, this sticky sheet." And he was just like, he was amazed. And so we sat down, and I really wanted him to talk about his love of Van Gogh. Oh, they're your family. Oh, it's fine. I mean, I, I watch a lot of videos where the kids are in the background, and like some people just don't want to have their kids on video, and I get that too. Their kiddos are their kiddos, and they just don't want them in the background, or they're like, maybe they get annoyed by noise or whatever. But um, you know, there have been times where I tell my husband I'm filming, and like he comes in the door talking, and I'm like, "Do I cut this? I could I could edit it out." So you could always do that too. Can't have anybody over syndrome. That's what chaos stands for. So is mine, and I'm alone. I live with a grown child. It's called a husband. And no matter how much I clean in this house, he comes in the door. But the moment he comes through the door, he drops things all the way to his desk, and then he's in the kitchen and he's dropping things that he's eating out of the refrigerator. But yeah, I remember those days when Josh was small, and he was just like, he was a lightning bug just flitting through the house. Enjoy it. It goes by. We have a 15-year-old. You know how fast it goes. That's fun. This has been a fun conversation, and I'm going to check out your channel, and I'm going to give everyone a last look. I hope everyone enjoyed the reading. Please let me know if you did, if you got anything out of it, if you, um, if anything hit home with you. And I'm going to bid you adieu. I'll tell you to have a great day. Create that world that you want to live in. Take it easy. Put your feet up, and just take it easy now, and be a diva. Let everyone cater to you. Oh, we all find it all works out. You just can't plan. It's when the moment strikes you. I mean, you could do your diamond painting quietly on your own, and then you could do a voiceover. InShot, it has a great application. It's free for that, where you can video record yourself just diamond painting, and you could turn the volume off, and then you could go back when you have the time, and you can talk about, you could do the audio over that. I do that a lot. I do that a lot, especially when I don't have time to edit, and I don't want to keep going back to, like, "Oh, I got to take this out," or I had to get up from the chair or whatever. And InShot, I think, is a great editing tool to have. So maybe that helps. Or maybe you just play music and maybe it's like, hey, I'm having, as a mommy, listen, you got a whole demographic of women that are trying to do exactly what you're doing. You know, mommies who diamond paint, or, for like a meditative moment, and let's get our, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's just like a quick check in. You know, I got 15 minutes, I'm going to sit down and diamond paint. Where are my mommies at? You have a huge demographic that you can tap into with that. That would be great for you. And I wish you luck with that. And I am going to check you out. And so I'm going to be coming over to your channel as soon as I wrap this up. My first, it's not really my first live, but it's like a little bit better than the first one. You're going to be having a lot of fun. And I will catch you, as always, in my next one. And if you watch this after, everybody, please just give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and get to know us. I like to think of us as a little family here, a little community. And thank you for being here. Thank you for the chat. It was lovely. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm going to check you out. And I will see you, as always, in the next one.